So I picked up the phone and said, "Hey, dude, I heard you're gonna do production of Sneakerness. That's awesome, but you don't know anything about sneaker culture. So what's up with that?"
Today on Kicks Chronicles, we talk life and kicks with co-CEO of Europe's biggest sneaker convention, Sneakerness. I'm talking about the one that only Matthijs Van Der Meulen is in the building. We talk about the kicks he loved growing up. We talk about the origins of Sneakerness, how it started from a room in Switzerland all the way to being in some of the biggest convention centers in Europe with tens of thousands in attendance. And lastly, we talk about the kicks he would take with him if he was stranded on a desert island. This is Kicks Chronicles. Yes, my people, Big PROZECH here, and you already know what it is. Kicks Chronicles, your sneaker and lifestyle podcast. Yeah, once again, I'm your boy PROZECH. Welcome. This is episode 63. We are cooking with gas, and today we're not playing any games. As I said at the top, as you would have heard, if you were paying attention, co-CEO of the largest sneaker convention in the whole of Europe, maybe soon to be the world. I'm talking to Matthijs Van Der Meulen, right? Respectfully, yeah, Matthijs is an absolute gentleman, and throughout the conversation, you're going to hear me say his name 3 or 4 million different ways. And he'll tell me I got it right every time. Absolute gentleman, yeah? But we're going to get into that a little bit later. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for being here, for just like showing up once again. Just the love and the support that we've had over the course of the last year, you know, has been absolutely amazing. So shout out to you, man. If you didn't manage to catch our last episode, all of those are available everywhere that you get podcasts. Go and listen or watch them at your leisure. That would be absolutely amazing. Getting back to Matthijs and his origins, obviously being the co-CEO of Sneakerness, this behemoth, this massive organization that goes from city to city, country to country, just providing energy and entertainment for every sneakerhead in that vicinity, just coming like a whirlwind and doing their thing. It's absolutely amazing. He just talks about the origins of how he got involved with the business. He talks about all of those things, but we go back, we go far back, we go further back than that. He takes us all the way back to Holland, to the little town he grew up in, to the time where he was only allowed to have 2 kicks a year, you get me? And he had to use them predominantly for his athletic pursuits, to the point where he saved up enough money to send his boy all the way to England. Not like he sent and paid for him, but like his boy went to England, and the story of how he copped his first pair of Air Max 90s. Mind-blowing story, yeah? The strength and faith that he had in his boy to be able to do that. And guess what, people? The boy delivered, the man delivered, and they're still friends to this day. You gotta hear that story. Please make sure you stick around to hear that story, yeah? Also, some of the maddest cop stories I've ever heard, yeah? Picking up grails, yeah, for peanuts. You get me? Like, this guy's lived life, and also creating impeccable customs at Mercer Street. You get me? In New York. 21 Mercer in New York. No joke. The guy's lived. He's got a kick history, so to speak. And we do get into the nitty-gritty of Sneakerness and plans for the future and what they aim to do. But you know, we're about that kick life. We're about that sneaker history. And we just wanted to understand his origins. And he's a real one. I can't lie. Very, very nice guy. I know you guys are going to really enjoy this podcast, this interview. I really enjoyed it. And he also talks to us about what being a sneakerhead really means to him, considering he's providing a massive service for sneakerheads. Like, it's good to understand from his perspective who he's targeting, who he's speaking to. And it's a massive, massive eye-opener in regards to his response and the amount of care and attention that these people take in order to be able to curate an experience that actually speaks directly in an authentic way to a true sneakerhead, to a one that wants to be part of this community. Is really, really cool. So yeah, guys, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, to all the things you're meant to do. And if you want to reach out to me, right, to holler at me, just say hello. You get me, kickschronicles@gmail.com. Real simple. Getting them comments, do all you need to do. You get me? Like, because you know what you're meant to be doing. I'm meant to be getting them 5-star reviews. You get me? So you man are listening. Glory to God. But I need more people to listen. So get them shares up. Get them shares up, man. And let's do this thing. We can keep getting amazing content and interviews with people like Matthijs Van Der Meulen. You get me? I hope you guys really enjoy it. It's one that I'm really, really proud of. You get me? We're coming up to the end of 2023. It's only heavy hitters and big bangers up until the clock strikes 12, G. We're not playing no games. With all of that being said, I'm your boy PROZECH. This is Kicks Chronicles, and our guest this week is the amazing co-CEO of Sneakerness, my boy, Matthijs Van Der Meulen. Enjoy. Yes, my people. Big PROZECH back again, and you already know what it is. We have another amazing, illustrious guest. One that I'm very, very happy to have in our midst this day, this evening, this afternoon, whatever time you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast. Today with us, we actually have the co-CEO of Sneakerness. Now, many of you are going to recognize that term Sneakerness as being one of the biggest, if not the biggest sneaker convention in Europe. Massive settings. You get me? Your boy, PROZECH, he did his thing, went to Sneakerness, saw the CEO, pulled him to a side and had a word, and he's on the podcast. So you can thank me later. Okay, I'm going to introduce to you Matthijs Van Der Meulen from Sneakerness. How did I do with that, Matt? How did I do? Was it okay?
Amazing job. Couldn't run it any better myself.
He's being nice. But massive appreciation for being on the podcast. Literally, people, I'll break the full. We were in Sneakerness in London just a couple of months ago. It was an absolutely amazing event. We really enjoyed it. We went down on the Sunday, and I was literally just walking through as we were about to set up, and I saw Matt in his top, and for some reason I was like, I think I recognize that guy. But my friend Peter, he was like, I'm gonna quickly just have a quick chat. So I think it was my friend Peter who was actually helping me record that day that started initiating a conversation with you. And then after a while, I was like, I actually do recognize that guy. And we have a quick chat with him, and managed to get you on the podcast. Super smooth. Like sometimes it is really difficult to get people to come on just purely because of people's schedules and stuff. But it's actually amazing that you've been on, because I know how busy you are. Literally, I know Rotterdam just ended literally like a few days ago. I know it was like the 4th and the 5th of November. So thank you for taking a bit of time out after that and jumping on. So like we do every week that we do the podcast, we always start from the beginning. So Matthijs, talk to us about your first love. What was that sneaker sort of that drew you in, that got you in love essentially with kicks?
Yeah, well, I was actually doing track and field athletics. So it was through sports that got me into trainers. I was still very young. I think I was 10, 11 when I was really getting a feel for footwear. And obviously, being into track and field, I always wanted. I mean, that's the brilliance of Nike marketing, I guess. I always wanted the shoe that made me believe that I could run faster than anyone else.
Come on.
And we're talking very early 90s here, so 89, 90. And of course, this was a time when there was a lot of progress being made on the
technology side.
Yeah. So I would say, almost every day after school, I went into the city center and started looking what kind of athletic shoes they would have in store. And there were a couple of shoes back then that really got my attention. Adidas were doing some really great stuff with the torsions.
Classic.
Nike definitely for me, the MX-90, that was the thing.
Yeah.
And obviously this was a shoe I I couldn't afford at 10, 11 years old. But
Understandable.
since I was doing track and field, I was kind of lucky because my grandfather, he bought me, well, he gave me like a sort of an allowance to buy 2 pairs a year. But just to do sports, I couldn't wear them off the track.
Really? So
Yeah.
strictly for the sports.
Yeah, strictly.
You can't just go. You can't go to the mall. You can't go to the shopping center. You can't go out with your boys.
So yeah, that's how I got the more expensive trainers. My parents didn't have the money for it, and I obviously didn't have the money for it. But then came the MX-90 infrared, and I
Classic.
really wanted that shoe. But I already had my pair for that half of year, and I started saving up on it. Had all kinds of small jobs, like delivering the newspaper and stuff like that.
I like that.
And I started saving up. And my best friend at the time, still one of my best friends, he was actually living, his mom was living in London.
Nice.
And twice a year, he went to London to see his mom. And I don't know how I figured it out at 11 years old, but I figured out that trainers were actually less expensive than in the Netherlands.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And I guess it had to do with the relationship between the pound and the Dutch guilder, or I don't know how I figured it out. I mean, this was all pre-internet days.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Right?
Yeah.
Guy definitely wanted his kicks. He's now figuring out Forex.
Yeah. And so I saved up enough money and gave it to my friend. And I said, I want you to go to a store, probably Foot Locker, and get me a pair of the infrared MX-90s. And he went there for, I think, 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, we didn't have mobile phones yet. We didn't have any contact during those 3-4 weeks. So
Jeez.
handed over the money and was just hoping that he would return.
Yeah, that's a deep friend. And you're saying he's still your friend till today. So he came through. But yeah, I've got some friends that I'm still friends with now that I wouldn't do that with. I'm just being real. Today, they're still my friends and I still wouldn't do that.
So after a month, he came back from his holiday and he came to my house. And he sat down with me and he said, yeah, I'm not sure how I'm going to tell you this, but I bought a pair, but it's not the pair you wanted me to buy. And I was like, what?
Oh my days.
I saved for months for this and you bought me something else? I mean, there's only one pair I'm after. Like, what did you buy? I'm not going to be happy, man. and he said, I looked all over London and I simply couldn't find them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They were really popular. I mean, they were, I mean, to play advocate for your boy, they probably were hard to get, to be fair.
But he did buy me a pair. So obviously I was very curious. And he said, well, the thing is, I bought you a pair of MX-90, but it's in a different colorway. I've never seen them. I hope you like them. And what I didn't realize back then is that in the UK, you guys received stuff way, way earlier than we did in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the difference would be half a year up to a year.
Really?
You received it. And now comes the cool part. I opened up the box and it was indeed a pair of MX-90s in the eggplant colorway that nobody saw it over here. I mean, it was out, it just came out in the UK, and here in the Netherlands,
Mate,
no one had seen it yet. And
Shout out to your boy. He put you.
yeah, for sure. And the best part was actually that I liked the colorway even way better
Yeah,
than the
that's
infrared.
a sick colorway. That's
Yeah,
a very cool colorway. Yeah, buddy. That's strong. That's
there you
super,
have it.
super strong, man.
And
Yeah.
this is the OG.
Yeah.
This is not the
Wow.
retro. This is the 1990 version.
Wait. How were you able to keep? So you've had that shoe for that long?
No.
Oh,
I'm,
you yeah. Well, yeah. You're in the business. It makes sense.
obviously, I've worn that first pair to death, and
Yeah.
it wasn't like nowadays where you were collecting trainers. No,
Mm-hmm.
you just rock them and rock
Yeah.
rock them till death.
Until the wheels fell off. Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you.
So I think I even gave them to like a girlfriend or something. Like, well, you can have them.
It's a very cool colorway, man.
Yeah.
That's an amazing story, man. Shout out to your boy, man.
And you have to keep in mind that I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
So the first time I was wearing these shoes in the city center, everybody was like, "What?"
You were the man.
Like,
literally, you were the man.
First of all, how does an 11-year-old get his hands on an expensive pair like this? I mean, the only guys that were sort of that had those pairs were 16, 17, 18
Yeah.
and up.
Definitely.
But yeah, I really set my mind to it, so I saved for it, and I had the pair. And yeah, it was a pair that no one ever saw before in the Netherlands.
Did you?
That really planted the seed. That from that moment on, I always wanted to have like
I get it.
precious pairs, because that
I
gave
get
me
it.
such a like the best feeling ever.
I can imagine, man. At 11 years old, just having the feeling of literally having the freshest kicks almost in the whole of the Netherlands, bro. Like, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. Did you ever have any fear rocking the kicks? Because I'm going back to my 11-year-old self and trying to think some of these streets that I walk on where I don't know whether I'd be able to rock the freshest kicks in the city. So did you ever have any fear? Did you ever have any trepidation? Or you were just so full of happiness and joy that you were like, I got to get these out of the house?
I think since I was only 11, I was so naive that I didn't even think of it. I mean, I do remember that feeling, but that came years later. When I was like 14, 15, and my hometown is Alkmaar, and it's like 30 kilometers from Amsterdam. But when I got a little bit older, and I went to Amsterdam wearing like expensive kicks, there I definitely, in some neighborhoods, I got the feeling like, this was probably not the smartest move.
Yeah, you got to move a little different in Amsterdam. Like, I hear you, bro. I hear you, bro. But that's an amazing story, Matthijs. Like, honestly, that is a fantastic story. Shout out to your boy for the trustworthiness and for pulling that out the bag. You get me? I can imagine it'd have been really difficult. And also, like, for him to go around the whole of, like, London to try and find these kicks.
He did really go out of his way.
He tried, man. He really tried.
He really tried.
Really tried. So let's take it back then in terms of, like, when you were growing up. Like, I can imagine that you probably weren't seeing Air Max 90s on people's feet all of the time. But what was the shoes that you kind of saw quite regularly on people's feet in terms of when you were growing up? What was very popular? Sort of what kind of shoe represented your area?
Since they were so expensive, you would rarely see those trainers on feet, to be honest. There were a couple of guys, and most of them were like football supporters, hooligans. Those were the guys rocking the expensive stuff. But other than that, it was just, like very simple Adidas. Also, already a lot of Nike, but not the expensive stuff.
I got it.
Stuff like the Icarus and that kind of models.
No, I hear that. That's it makes sense. It makes sense.
At some point, some Jordans. my my mom bought me a pair of the Air Jordan 1s.
Come on.
Yeah, the BREDs for 25 guilders in a sale. Because, those things didn't sell. And I used them. I still have pictures of it. I used them for skateboarding.
Jeez, bro. This is amazing. See, this is why I love this podcast. And this is another reason why I need to talk to people from other countries. The idea that the ones are sitting. Now, I think we know enough about history, even with the lost and found. I think that was the whole marketing premise behind it, that they were sitting at a point and people didn't really appreciate them for what they were, right? But the idea that a colorway as iconic as the BREDs would be sitting. What's 25 guilders, bro? What's that?
That's actually 12 euros.
God,
So 10 pounds.
bro, like, this is unbelievable, man. It's unbelievable.
And
This is it.
I still remember that I went there with my mom, and it was just not one pair. Eh? It was
my
boxes
days.
and boxes and boxes that we didn't know how to get rid of those.
If you could have flashed forward to your life as an older man and known that you would be at the helm of one of the biggest sneaker conventions in the world, you'd have just got all of them and just put them in a storage space, and you'd have been able to. You'd have done big business over the weekend. I'm telling you.
I mean, there's tons of stories like that. Now that we talk about it, I mean, also early 90s. Like I said, I was into track and field, into athletics, and I was always looking for proper running shoes. And there were all these kind of mom and pop stores, or some were like dedicated to trainers that had sale all the time, and obviously some went out of business. And I still remember in a small town close to my hometown where they had this sale, and the whole store was filled with the Air 180s and the
Jeez.
and again, like for 25, 50 guilders, like you almost could get them for free.
They literally were giving them away. Like, this is actually amazing. And it's great to get that kind of perspective, because a lot of times, I mean, growing up in the UK, and don't get me wrong, I think when I was growing up, when we didn't truly understand the value of certain pairs and certain brands, you definitely could get like some good deals. But I think the difficulty was the understanding of what you like and the understanding of what's really cool and what's going to be the thing, right, isn't there yet. So you're just getting whatever you can get, right? Yeah. So it's like what you really wanted is to have that older mindset in that younger body, and then you just clean up, right? And it never worked out that way. But I still managed to get a couple of decent pairs in my younger days, man. But like, yeah, nothing as good as that, man. Never getting a BRED for 25 guilder. 12 euros, crazy. Crazy. Unbelievable, man. And that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah, and I think a couple of years later, like when I was 14, 15, then I really got influenced by hip-hop culture. Like looking at album covers. Like I said, it started with this interest for trainers, athletic shoes. And when I got a little bit older, I started looking at the album covers from hip-hop records. And then also my taste changed a little bit. Started getting into brands like Fila, Adidas, etc., etc.
I always find that really interesting, like the flow of a sneakerhead's journey in terms of brands, like, because it's usually a brand that brings you in, because it's usually a silhouette or a colorway that brings you in. So it's usually that one that you're looking at, and in your mind, that's the only shoe that really matters, and that's the only one that exists. But once you delve into that, you realize there's a whole world like available to you. And as you get older, you start realizing about sort of technologies and different silhouettes and different things that work and different things that don't. And you start realizing, okay, this is a little bit more comfortable for me. Because I've always found Nikes, even though I love them, to be a little narrow, and I've got a wide foot.
Yeah.
So Adidas tends to work for me because I'm like, so when Adidas started doing stuff like the Ultra Boost and the NMDs, I was like, I'm here, bro. And then the Yeezys just took that all the way over the hedge. Like, I was like, I'm there for all of it. But then obviously you've got the Jordans and you've got the Air Max ones, Air Max 90s. Like, and obviously even the Dunks had a massive resurgence a couple of years ago as well. Like, yeah, there's so many, that whole journey is also, it is awesome, man. It's awesome. I think that I need to ask you about is something we refer to as the unholy grails. And I don't know if you've heard that term before. I know you've probably heard holy grails, but I've never unholy grails. An unholy grail is slightly different, far more sinister. I need to explain it to you. Okay, so an unholy grail is what we refer to, or what I refer to on the podcast as an unbranded shoe. A shoe that kind of is a character building shoe. A shoe that one might have to wear because they can't get the Nikes, the Adidases and the like. We've got, in the UK, we've had things like Plimsolls, Gola, Dunlop, Mercury, Everlast, Slazenger. It was a popular one for a period and that sort of stuff. Did you ever have to sort of dabble in the unholy?
Phew, let me think. Might have been something like high tech.
High tech is definitely in there, but it's almost on the edge because it has like a following all of its own. Because I think it's probably in terms of unholy grails, let's say, it's probably the closest one to being an acceptable shoe. Because I had high techs as well, and I know they were, I think, the silver, I don't know if they were called the silver bullets or silver shadows. Silver shadows is what they were called. At one point, I saw them going on eBay for like over £200. Yeah, they had like a really good following, a really decent following. So yeah, but high techs are definitely unholy. We have to put the full respect on the name. And unholy in not in the true sense of the word. It's all fun and games. All tongue and cheek. Out here, man, because sometimes people do take it very seriously, especially if they're still wearing high techs, right? So it's all good. It's all good. We're not having a go at people wearing their shoes. It's just literally about understanding sort of like the path we had to go on. Because for me, in my household, kicks were not a priority at all. Yeah. You get me? Sneakers were not on the top of anyone's list, especially my mum. So yeah, I had to go through
another pair came to mind. A pair of Lottos.
Lottos! Come on.
Yeah.
Lotto trainers.
I don't know the specific model anymore. And in a way, it was kind of cool. Because...
That's the football. That's a football brand. That's a heritage brand right there. I didn't even know they made kicks. I didn't even know they made kicks. Yeah. And at that time, did you get any what we call like if you were in school, I like you might get a little bit of someone might tell you about yourself a little bit. They might give you a bit of trouble because of your shoes. Did you get some of that if you were rocking the wrong shoes?
In 1990, I went to what we in the Netherlands call like middle school. And I went to the gymnasium. And there everybody was wearing, well, everybody, yeah, I would say like 99% were wearing like Memphistos.
Wow, okay.
And like I told you, I wasn't allowed to wear my trainers. My parents didn't allow me.
So
my
annoying.
Didn't allow me, but
that's so annoying.
What did I do? I just brought them with me in a backpack.
Matthijs is breaking the rules.
Yeah. But I still remember that wearing running shoes at school was kind of weird. People looked at me like, what? Why would you wear running shoes at school? Like,
What, as opposed to shoes?
Yeah.
It's so crazy, man. Like, we think to ourselves, like, back in the day when we were in school, like, we literally would, like, in my school, I went to like a Catholic school, so trainers were like prohibited unless you were doing like sports.
Yeah.
So we used to run in the shoes. We used to play football in the shoes, basketball in shoes. We literally would just try and find the most sort of like sporty looking shoes you could find. So there was a lot of, I don't know if you know the brand Kickers. There was a lot of Kickers. There was a lot of Clark's Wallabies.
Yeah.
A lot of Clark's Wallabies because they just had that one, there's like that, the two loops. So like basically a lot of surface area for kicking a ball. So yeah, we just had to just do what we had to do, man. But yeah, let's bring it into the modern day, Matthijs, if you don't mind.
Sure.
And I like to ask, or I like to get into what I refer to as the EST of KIC. And when I say EST, I mean the oldest, the newest, the rarest, the greatest, the best, right? And this is of your modern day collection, things that you sort of like are enjoying right about now. So in your collection currently, what would you say is the oldest shoe in your collection? Hi there. So nice to see you. Sorry to interrupt the pod. I'll be literally 30 seconds. I just wanted to say thank you for being here. And also, if you enjoy the pod, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It really does help. Also, if you're listening on an audio platform, feel free to give us a review, whether it be positive or negative. Just leave a review. We really, really appreciate it. Also, feel free to listen to our old episodes. And if you ever want to get in contact, if you want to let me know what you're thinking, feeling, or whatever, holler at me. My name is PROZECH. PROZECH on all social media. Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm enjoying TikTok at the moment. So feel free to holler at me. I will always holler back. And with all that being said, I'll let you get back to the pod. Toodles.
Shoe I really, really like is this Air Alpha. It's also from 1990 or 1991. It's not very well known, but it's I think it's a super cool silhouette.
Yeah, that's a decent colorway.
Yeah,
that's a decent colorway, and it looks like a really cool silhouette as well.
But
you can definitely see.
This one is still wearable.
Yeah, no, without a shadow of a doubt, they're still wearable. You can really see the sort of signature of the Air model.
Yeah,
like there was certain, like I'm saying, there's certain.
See what's sort of coming.
Yeah. No, it definitely fits. It definitely fits. It's a cool looking shoe.
Enjoy all this like funny details, and there's this all kinds of
nice,
cool stuff going on. I
do like that. Okay, what would you say is your rarest pair?
I would say there's a couple. Two I'm sitting here. Here's one, and here's the other one. No, there's more. Wait.
Wait, there's more.
Okay.
We love it.
So, this you won't see very often because it's a sample pair.
Very cool. Sample Air Max 1.
It did came out in a blue colorway. And the funny thing is, I also have the purple pair. And that might even be
very
rarer,
nice.
But I haven't seen it.
Very nice. Do you know what the name is on that?
No.
No, it's fair.
No.
That's and people, if you are listening to the podcast, like I say every week, maybe you should just jump over to YouTube and have a quick look.
I can look it up what the blue pair is called.
We will definitely try and find out what it's called, but very cool pair. Like I'm really like it's a tonal green on this. It's got various different shades of green on the upper,
and it's all suede.
All suede.
And the funny thing is, at some point, pictures leaked of the whole pack. So there was this blue one, the purple one, and the green one. And everybody agreed that the green and the purple one, those were the ones. And the funny thing is,
they didn't bring them
they
out.
only released the blue pair.
The blue pair.
And it even gets weirder because the blue pair even got restocked. And this green and the the purple, they just never made it.
Wow.
And as far as I know, there's only like a handful of pairs of these. So
if you get me that name, I want that shoe.
yeah,
Because I love the Air Max 1.
Yeah.
And it, like, just the idea of having like an Air Max 1 that just has various different tones at the same color. Like, I just like simplicity.
Yeah,
I that is a very cool shoe.
The purple one as well.
Super cool shoe.
This one I bought from eBay for $30.
Jeez, man. This guy knows how to sniff out a deal, G. He knows how to sniff out a deal.
I think it actually comes from an outlet in the States. I have to pay like some import taxes, but in the end I probably paid like 50 euros in total. So that was a nice
that's a vibe.
Find.
That's a very, very rare shoe.
And then the purple one is probably even rarer. I only know of one. I only saw one guy ever post pictures of it. And then this pair. And the cool backstory behind the purple pair is that I saw this guy posting it online like years and years and years ago. And I already had the green pair. And I really wanted also the purple pair. And I hit the guy up like, hey, dude, if you ever think about selling that pair, please think of me, because I really, really want it. And just name me your price, and I'm sure we can make a deal. And there was a guy from Ireland, and he said, no, I will never sell that pair.
Oh,
said,
wow.
Okay, that's cool. I mean, if you don't want to sell it, you don't want to sell it. 6 months later, hit him up again.
Persistence.
You still have that pair? Yeah, I still have it. What do you still not selling? No. I will keep it. I said, okay, that's cool. Long story short, I think it took me 3 to 4 years.
Come on.
Just every sort of 6 months, I just send them a reminder like, hey dude, how you doing? All good? Yeah, I'm good. Still not selling? No, still not selling. And at some point,
I love that.
At some point, he lost interest in trainers, and he said, "Yeah, of course you can have it. You've been asking for the last 4 years, so."
Yeah. If there's no one else I'd rather give it to.
No, exactly. And I got it also for a steal. Like,
that's amazing.
Because he knew I wanted it so bad.
That's
he
really
said,
cool.
It's cool. Don't worry about it. I'll make you a nice price.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Nice. Do you know what? I need to learn some lessons, man. Matthijs, man, you are teaching me today. You get me? I need to start scouting IG, eBay. I'm trying to get some of these out there pairs. The problem that I've got sometimes is because I'm a size 12.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's difficult to get them bigger sizes. But you never know, though. I mean, I got to try. I haven't been trying.
In that way, I am super lucky because I'm a size 9, like a UK 8.
Yeah.
So that's the sample size. And
that's the sample size. That's
it's
perfect.
the most common size. So most of the pairs are sort of easy to pick up.
If I was to ask you, what are your greatest pair of shoes, what would you show me?
Ooh,
massive.
Might be this one. And it will look familiar.
What? Yeah.
So what I did, I basically, this is a bespoke pair. It was made.
You recreated.
It was made at 21 Mercer in New York when you can bespoke. And there's also kind of a funny story behind it. I always had this rule that I would never spend more than double retail for a pair. So if it's
good rules, man.
Euros, then 300 is the max I'm gonna pay.
It's a good rule.
It again for my own sort of safety. And because of this rule, there's loads of pairs I needed to pass on back in the day, but even still now. I mean, for me, there's sort of 300, 400 euros. That's what I'm willing to pay for something I really, really, really want. And if it's more expensive, then forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then this was my rule. But I went on this road trip with one of my best friends in New York, and he's really into sneakers as well. Has been since forever, and always when we went abroad, we went to sneaker stores together. He was actually the one who took me to my first sneaker convention.
Amazing.
He's been into it for as long as I can remember. And when we went on the road trip, it was in the States, and he already did a bespoke pair in London. But it was, what was it, £850 or something? €1,000 or $1,000. When he did it back then, I said, "You're crazy." I mean,
yeah, that's mad.
£1,000 shoe. I mean, are you still gonna wear it? You know.
See, this is the thing, man. Yeah. I mean, oh my days.
So, but he said before we went to the States, he said, "I'm booking an appointment because I'm gonna make another pair in New York because." There will be different options, like there will be different materials you can choose from. And
jeez,
dude, you know my rule. I will never ever spend that kind of money on a shoe. So no. and he said, but you need to be sure because you have to make an appointment way in advance because they were always like completely booked months in advance. And he said, so you have to make up your mind now. Or otherwise, it's not going to happen. I said, no, I'm cool with it. I don't spend that kind of money on shoes, so forget about it. So we went on the road trip for a whole month, and I had money burning in my pocket because every time I went to the States, I always brought more than enough money to buy trainers, to buy clothing. But the funny thing was that this time when we were there, I couldn't find anything. I mean, we were there for a month, and I bought a North Face jacket in an outlet for $50, and just some cheap stuff. So the money was burning in my pocket, and we were ending the trip in New York. Almost the last day of the trip, we went to 21 Mercer. He had the appointment. And the cool thing was that I could join him on the appointment.
Nice.
And the idea behind it is that you almost have like half a day with two designers. So you go there, you sit with them. It was kind of crazy. I mean,
that's nuts.
It's a shame they don't do it anymore, but
they'd be inundated if you could still do that in today's world that we live in with how hype like kicks are right now. They wouldn't even be able to deal with the amount of people that they have coming through the door. It'd be crazy.
So you could check all the materials and make all this crazy combination and basically, I mean, I can show you some details later. You have Night by You, where you can change a couple of items. But with the bespoke program, you basically can change every single detail on the shoe. And you can make it as crazy as you want it. So I sat in on the appointment, and I was really like, wow, this is like this experience, it's really something else, you know? And the designers, they started asking me like, oh, but so you're also really into sneakers, but why don't you have an appointment? Why don't you make a pair? And then I explained my rule and said, okay, yeah, we get it. But by that time I was like, yeah, okay. Because I was also thinking like it would be a really nice souvenir
Amazing to you, man.
for this whole trip. Something that will remind me of that trip basically for forever. And also will remind me of our friendship.
Yeah.
So by that time I was really like, oh damn, I wish I'd made that appointment because now I really want to make the shoe. But we were already leaving the next day. So the two designers said, well, are you sure you don't want to make a shoe? And I said, yeah, even if I wanted to, you guys wouldn't have the time because we're leaving tomorrow. And then they looked at each other and said, normally we're closed on Saturdays, but for you we can make an exception.
Wow.
Okay. now that's the point of no return. I have
for real. The pressure's on. You've got to do something.
and the cool thing was since I was sitting in on my friend's appointment, I already could like come up with the whole concept of the shoe, because that's also the tricky part. And I spoke to quite a lot of people who made the bespokes back then, and you can come up with a design beforehand, but you never know for 100% that they will have they have the right options and the right materials. And then you have to sort of rethink the whole thing on the spot.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And for $1,000 shoe, that's pretty crazy.
Stress.
You only get one shot.
100% you only get one shot.
Yeah.
That's mad.
Yeah.
That's the stress. I'd be like, I struggled making a Nike, because you used to be able to make Nike IDs in store. I struggled making a Nike ID in store. What came to my house was completely wrong. Like, it was just unbelievably bad. Yeah. So like, I get it. Like, the pressure of actually having two designers, plus having all of the various different materials, all of like the lace debris, the all of the different like attachments, the pieces of rubber, the outsole, the midsole, but it's like nah, it's nuts. Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. So for me that was really nice, because I already had the opportunity to check out, like, okay, I had a couple of concepts, and this was by far my favorite concept. Like doing my first shoe, this one.
Yeah, doing the eggplant.
The eggplant, but then on the Air Max 1, because that's something that just doesn't exist.
Very sick.
And I started sort of recreating it in my head and writing down stuff, and then checking if all the materials were there, and then I think I can pull it off. So there's some really cool details that are probably super hard to see, but the swoosh, for instance, it's made out of mesh.
Wow.
And it's like a double swoosh.
Okay, yeah, I can kind of see like a little silhouette around it, like a little shadow.
That's actually 3M material, so that's also like a nice detail.
So when the camera flashes on it, it's got like a little outline on the swoosh. Very cool. Yeah, very, very cool. That purple mudguard is crazy.
Nowadays, more of the MX ones have it, but like the hem tongue.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's really cool. The materials are off the hook. Like the quality of the different kind of leathers that I used are super nice.
You can tell, like, I mean, obviously we're talking over the internet, but there's a shine on that leather that isn't normal. Like, it's really, really cool. Like, it's a very
because of the materials, the quality of the material, it's actually quite a heavy shoe.
I can imagine.
Yeah, but here you can see, like, you can really choose every single detail. Like, oh, you want this to be a different color? Oh, no problem. So and same
that's
here. Oh, you want the swoosh to be a different color? Oh,
that's cool.
No problem. Oh, you want double stitching? Yeah, sure, no problem.
See, this is it, because there is, like, I'm saying, you've got that one.
You want
come on now.
parts? Yeah,
come on now. The thing is, and if you're gonna do it, you need to do it to that degree. You need to do it to that level because you're spending the money. You need to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
You can't go in there and just make a basic shoe. You need to do something that's going to really sort of like, put a marker down, but also you need to do something that's also wearable.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to spend £1,000 on a shoe and not be able to wear it.
Yeah.
So like, you pulled it off, man. And it's very, very smart using a current or an existing colorway as a muse.
As a base, yeah.
I think that's very, very smart. Switching the silhouette is a very, very cool move. Especially for something like that, because it's not come out. You're absolutely right. Very, very cool. Let's switch gears a little bit, man, because obviously most people are going to know you, or maybe they're going to know more about the convention, but maybe not know the faces behind Sneakerness. Like, just give us a little bit of an understanding of how the business, how the brand came to be, and sort of what the vision was, and how you've got to the stage where you're literally the biggest sneaker convention in Europe.
Yeah, so Sneakerness started 16 years ago. Started by a couple of friends in Switzerland. And actually, one of the co-founders, Sergio, he bought a fake pair from eBay. And by doing so, he thought, geez, I know a thing or two about trainers. If I buy a fake pair, it must happen to a lot of people.
So many people, absolutely. Like,
if I fall for it, and that started. I mean, that like I said, 16 years ago, he started thinking like, wouldn't it be nice if we can go back to like offline interaction? And we can actually, because a lot of stuff started to happen online, like on forums, buying and selling through eBay, and this whole online culture started to evolve. And he thought, that it is very nice. I mean, obviously you can get in touch with people from all over the world. You can buy pairs from all over the world, but it would be nice. If there would be a place where we can actually interact offline. So why don't we try doing an event? And the initial idea was actually just trading pairs to other sneaker enthusiasts. And people have to keep in mind that 16 years ago, the whole sneaker thing was super, super niche.
Yeah, it was different.
It was a thing for nerds. To be honest. No, really. I mean,
no, I agree.
Yeah. Only a bunch of nerds would have like 100 plus pairs of trainers and would go nuts about them and know everything about them. So, it was a super niche thing. But to their own surprise, the first event they held, they had a couple of 100 people showing up in a small town in Switzerland, and they were sort of shocked. Like, they expected like a handful of people to show up, but they really thought, okay, this is interesting. We might be onto something. And then rather quickly they expanded to Germany, and obviously Germany has already back then had quite a big sneaker community. And then it started growing from there. And at some point, at first they tried doing all these events themselves. But rather soon they started realizing that it would probably work better if they started working with local people and the local community. So what it looks like nowadays, how Sneakerness works, is that it's actually a franchise. So Sneakerness International is handing out licenses to license holders in different countries.
I get it.
Yeah.
Completely makes sense. So it's essentially territories.
Yeah.
So Rotterdam, Milan, London.
Yeah.
I get it. Very completely understandable model, especially in this day and age. We're seeing a lot more of that. In terms of obviously your involvement, when did you join the business?
I started going to conventions. I think the first conventions I went to 2010 or so. There was Sneakerness Cologne I went to. Sneakerness Amsterdam was already there, but it was done by another team. And I was going to Creps City in the UK.
Yeah. Creps is big in the UK as well.
This was around 2013, 2012, I would say. And then at some point, the Sneakerness Amsterdam stopped happening. I think they had 2 or 3 editions, and then it sort of vanished. And I just thought it was weird, because the first couple of shows were actually quite good. A lot of people showed up, and there was a strong community. So I started asking around, and I knew some people close to the team in Germany. And I picked up the phone, started making some phone calls. And then an old friend of mine said, well, I have a surprise for you, because I know who's going to do Sneakerness is returning to Amsterdam, and I know who's going to do the production of it. I said, okay, that's interesting. He said, yeah, it's an old colleague of ours. I said, an old colleague? Yeah. I said, okay, that's pretty cool. And the guy who they put in charge, he had tons of experience doing events, like huge festivals, like techno festivals, dubstep. But he didn't know anything about sneaker culture. So I picked up the phone and said, hey, dude, I heard you're going to do production of Sneakerness. That's awesome. But you don't know anything about sneaker culture. So what's up with that? And he said, man, the event is in 6 weeks, and I really don't know where to start with this. The production side, I can handle. But the content side, I don't have any connections in this community. I don't know any sellers. I don't know any shops. I really don't know where to start. And
that's said, well, amazing.
Here I am.
That's just perfect. Yeah, it was absolutely perfect.
Because back then I was already really into sneakers, into the sneaker community. I knew already quite a lot of sellers. With a couple of friends, I had this Facebook group, Sneaker Freaks Holland. We had a lot of connections there with sellers and with shop owners. And so, I basically told him, like, yeah, man, let me help you out. My background is also in marketing. So I said, I can also help you out on that part. And then, within 6 weeks, we put together the first show. And I guess then the same thing happened as with the guys who started the event. We expected maybe 1,000 people, and 3,500 people showed up, and we're like, "Oh, okay, we might be onto something."
100%, 100%. I always enjoy hearing sort of those origin stories and understanding sort of really truly what was the thing that sort of started or kicked off those chain of events.
Yeah.
And like then understanding sort of like those sliding doors moments when, oh, you're asking questions on why this is not happening, why that's not happening. It's been given to this person. I think you may know him as a colleague, but all of these things are just really, really cool. It's like a movie, and it's very, very cool because when you're looking at the machine of Sneakerness now, like what you'll be forgiving and thinking, oh, this has just been the way it's been forever. It's just been like this, like big, bold, shiny, in multiple rooms, people selling and people cashing out, and there's people playing basketball over there, and big brand over here, eBay over there, the Edit London's over there, No Two Ways over there, and you're not thinking like, when it first started, it was like, do 100 people turn up? Do 200 people turn up? Like those thoughts were going through people's heads, and it's just amazing to see where it's come, man.
It really was like that, and I actually spoke said the famous word to. I mean, we were doing it with the three of us. So two guys who were into like financing, production, etc., and I was focusing on marketing, communication, and the content of the event. And after the first show, I said to the guys, like, okay, this wasn't like an unexpected success, but if you ask me, the sneaker hype is at the top, at the very peak. So, and we're talking 2013.
Unbelievable. You were nowhere near.
But I honestly believe that.
No, it's fair. Like, it's fair. It's completely fair.
If we do this again next year, it might well be that we end up with 1,000 visitors or even more.
Oh, my days.
Well, here we are.
Here we are. How many people went to Sneakerness London?
I think for this show, close to 8,000 people showed up.
Yeah, I heard it was below 10, yeah. But it was over 5. So that sounds about right. Yeah. Like, and when I was there, it was absolutely rammed, and that was even on the second day. Yeah. I heard Saturday was crazy.
Saturday was crazy.
I heard Saturday was crazy. Yeah, but yeah.
But like you said, I think it's interesting to see how the event has grown because, as I said, I was going to all these events myself. I was a visitor. I went to Sneakerness. I went to Creps City together with my friend. I told you about the guy. I went on all these road trips, and every time we went to these events, we sat in the car driving back home, and we were not complaining, but we were always thinking like, yeah, it was cool, but
yeah, but you're thinking. But it could be better, right? Yes. There's some things that you could do that could improve it.
And the both of us, when we were younger, we were always visiting a lot of parties like raves, etc. And we had the same kind of attitude. We were also there. We were always like, yeah, it was nice, but why don't they do this?
See, this is. I mean, I suppose this is the mindset of a CEO, right? You go into a party, you go into a rave, you go into a convention. Everyone's just there enjoying themselves. And some people are literally taking notes and doing and thinking, how can I improve?
I'm making notes at the same time.
Like, for real, I was saying, people are like, how can we improve this? How can we analyze this and make this better? How can we make this process a little bit smoother, streamline some things? Yeah. No, I like it.
When I got the opportunity, I already had this sort of very long list, sort of a wish list of things I would love to add to the event. Because when I was going to the events, it was basically always, okay, we have a venue, we throw some tables in, we throw some sellers in, there might be a DJ playing, there might be some food, and that's about it. And as a visitor, this is sort of okay to hang around for like half an hour, maybe an hour.
This is it.
And then you're gone. And maybe it has to do with my background. I would say, I just love everything related to street culture. Like I said, I used to do some skateboarding. I always played music, made music. I was a very active graffiti writer. I loved breaking.
Come on.
So going to these events, I was always like, why don't these guys add all those elements?
I mean, man, I make it a true reflection of the streets, man.
It can be so much more. And
100%.
Everything sort of wraps around this sneaker, you know? Everything is sort of attached to it, either through basketball or breaking or... So, when I first got the opportunity, I spoke to the guys I did the first event with. And I basically threw the list on the table and said, okay, let's go. This is what I want. And then they looked at the list and they started laughing like, yeah, that's a cool list. That's some pretty cool stuff. But who's going to pay for it?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because then I realized that everything was on the list. That,
Yeah.
it costed money. Like,
Yeah, of course.
With my graffiti background, I wanted to have guys live painting. I wanted to have an art gallery where artists could sell their work. I wanted to have like free workshops and stuff like that. So the guy said, "Yeah, I mean, super nice, but we need to get some brands on board to make that happen." And Dan, my business partner, he said, even if we would have all the money in the world and we would do the whole list, super cool. But what are you giving them, your visitors, the next time?
Yeah, you got to go up. Every single time you got to go up. So yeah, if you're giving them the world, or you're giving them the sequel.
Yeah, so I mean, that's 10 years ago. We sort of agreed that for every event we would pick one or two items off the list, and we would give it a try. Because the guys also said, "Hey, it's your list. It's stuff you like, but we really need to see how it resonates with the audience. I mean, maybe they don't care at all." So what we started doing then is just making small test cases. So pour a little bit of our own money into it, see what happens. If the audience loves it, then try to make it a little bit bigger next time. And the cool thing is that nowadays, these are actually the things that the brands pick up. When I speak to the brands and they're like, "Yeah, we would love to attend Sneakerness, but we really don't have a clue what to do. Can you help us on that part?"
You're like, "In fact, I've got a little list. Let me just consult the list."
No, but now I have tons of examples of stuff we did already in the past. Like, and they love to adopt it.
Yeah, no, it completely makes sense. If I was to ask you in the next sort of 5 years, where do you see Sneakerness going? What would you say?
I mean, obviously we're gonna go even more into this experience kind of thing. You will see even more of this. So yeah, I think that this is also what separates us from other events. Like heading even more into this whole street culture / lifestyle thing with loads of brand experiences. So yeah, that's definitely something we're continuously working on all the time. There is serious interest from Middle East. We're speaking to some parties in the US.
Come on.
Asia. There's interest from Asia, but one step at a time. I mean, looking back a couple of years ago, I think we wanted to grow too fast. It was also a time where we tried doing a lot of these events ourselves, and ourselves is then Sneakerness International. I think the London shows were a great example, or actually a bad example, just how you want to look at it. No, I think for the first two shows we did in London, we really underestimated how hard it is to put on a show in London. And I would say the same goes for Paris, for instance. So we realized that we really need strong local partners to make a good show happen. So we're still looking at expanding, adding more cities to the tour, but we will only do it if we find the right partners, and only then.
Makes sense because this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And you guys have got an amazing sort of catalog and you're doing great things. So
I think this year shows sort of how we would like to proceed. This year we added London to the tour. Next weekend we have Budapest added to the tour. And this is, for me, is sort of the maximum we would like to do. Adding 1 or 2 cities per year. That's sort of the limit. Because, like I said, it's a franchise. And we have to, it takes a lot of time and effort.
I can imagine.
To sort of, instruct the local teams. Especially if they haven't done any Sneakerness events before. Or even like the Evening Standard. They do have a lot of experience in business-to-business events, for instance. But they didn't have any experience in doing anything related to sneaker culture. And I guess you can imagine that you have to provide them with tons and tons of input to put on a good show.
Let me ask you a question. It's a question that I absolutely love. And it's called Desert Island Kicks. So, Matthijs, imagine you were on a desert island, but you didn't know how you got there. All of a sudden, you're on this desert island, but you have 2 pairs of shoes with you. Right? They don't have to be from your collection, but they can be. They can be any shoes you want them to be. Right? All I want to know is, and all we want to know, right, is what 2 pairs of shoes do you have with you on this island, and why?
Ooh, it's probably New Balance 997.
Come on.
I don't care about the colorway. And the reason behind it, because for some reason I can walk for days on these shoes. A lot of people think they're quite uncomfortable because they have a very stiff midsole. But for some reason, these are the shoes for me. It might have to do with the fact that I broke my ankle really bad 12, 13 years ago.
Okay. So then the stiffness helps.
Yeah, the stiffness helps. It's funny because you would think it would be the other way around.
No, but when you've got like a weakened joint, that stability really does help. So I do get it.
Yeah. So definitely a pair of the 997.
It's a good shout.
And then, it has to be an MX1.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the silhouette I own the most. Out of the 200 pairs, definitely a big chunk are MX1s.
We love that. And that's respectable. Yeah. Completely respectable and understandable.
And also, especially in the Netherlands, that's the shoe. I mean, that's the shoe.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, what we're going to do now, we're going to do some quick fires before we, I've got like 1 or 2 questions after that, but nothing major, but we'll do some quick fires. They're going to be going to come really thick and fast. So I'm warning you now, right? Just the first thing that comes off your head. Yeah? Okay. We're getting ready and we're starting in 3, 2, 1. First and foremost, Nike or Adidas?
Nike.
New Balance or Adidas?
New Balance.
Can you wear Nike and Adidas together at the same time? No. Yes or no?
No.
Do you have a Jordan number? As in, do you have a favorite Jordan silhouette?
Ooh, that's a trick question because it differs from time to time. And there's also a difference in what I would wear and what I think is aesthetically pleasing.
This is it. Now, what's most important to you?
Yeah.
What's the number?
Ooh. I guess it's then... Yeah. Wow, that's really a tough one. Jordan 1.
Come on. Go with the original. Yeah. YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok?
Instagram.
Sneakers. Sneakers, Kicks, or Creps? I think I know the answer.
Sneakers.
Spotify or Apple?
What? SoundCloud?
I'll let you have SoundCloud. What is your favorite collaboration?
Ooh, I really do like Concepts
I think that's
as a
fair.
collaborator. And
Yeah,
they've
that's a good
done
one.
so many good collaborations. It's crazy.
Very, very
You
cool
probably
collaborator.
would expect me to say Pata since I'm from the Netherlands, but
Yeah, Patter, but I with respect, Patter are absolutely legendary at this point. Like, I don't know if they've ever created a bad colorway at this point. Their collabs are crazy. I'm still looking for my Wave Monarchs as well, so I'm still trying hard to get those. And the Reebok Club C's as well. I need both of those. But yeah, back to the quickfires. Vans or Converse?
Vans,
Laces or slip-ons?
laces.
Do you do patterns with your laces or you just regular?
Just regular.
Do you customize your shoes or factory settings?
I did a lot of customization in the past.
It is true.
Yeah.
It is true. We'll go with that. Retro or innovation?
I'm afraid I have to go with retro.
Don't be afraid. It's fine.
It's funny because when I was younger, I was all about innovation. But if I look at my collection, I'm so stuck in the 90s.
I respect it. I think we're all there. I think, or at least for me, I should say, I'm definitely there. Flip-flops or sliders?
Sliders.
Socks or barefoot?
Socks.
Comfort or style?
Ooh, style.
Fresh and clean or beaten and battered?
Fresh and clean.
Are you washing your shoes with your hands or with the washing machine?
I used to throw a lot of my kicks in the washing machine, but I stopped doing that because it's so bad for the glue.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Terrible for the shoes. Terrible for the glue, especially on that hot wash.
Yeah.
Don't do it, people. Lows, mids, or highs?
Funny thing is, I don't think I have any high shoes. Not anymore. Like I said, when I was younger, Airwalks, Jordan 1s. Nowadays, I don't own a single pair of high or mids. It's all like trainers.
We're going with the lows on that, yeah?
Yeah.
And the last question in this section, triple blacks or white on white?
White on white. For some
Love
reason,
it.
I really don't like black shoes. And I detest black midsoles.
Jeez. Do you know what? It's funny you say that because in the UK, if you wear a black on black shoe, especially like an Air Force One or an Air Max 95, you basically are a murderer or some kind of criminal hiding in plain sight. Everyone's just looking at you, expecting you to commit crimes. So yeah,
I
you're
don't know why.
probably in good
For
company.
me, trainers have to have like. Well, yeah, I don't know. I
have any with a black midsole? Would you class this as a black midsole? It's a little bit different, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I have any out and out black midsoles. Like, yeah, I think you're right, man. Unless you're counting, because I've got the Yeezy 500s, and that's utility black.
Yeah.
It's all one color. So, yeah, that's interesting. You know, I've never really thought about that, but it's kind of true.
Yeah, for me, a trainer has to have like a light midsole.
You like the light midsoles, man.
It looks so much fresher.
Light midsole. Cool. Can I ask you about the word sneakerhead? Because you even mentioned it while we were talking. What does it mean to you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, well, there's so many thoughts, definitions of it. Yeah, just someone who has a passion for footwear.
Quite simple.
Yeah.
I appreciate and I agree. Matthijs Van Der Meulen. Did I get that right this time?
100%.
Come on, man. I might be a little bit Dutch. I'm just saying, right? Would you class yourself as a sneakerhead?
The funny thing is, it took me years to sort of realize. No, let's put it differently. I never saw myself as a collector, just as someone who was buying a lot of stuff, buying and wearing, and I didn't collect trainers, just bought what I liked, and then it took years and years and years to sort of realize that this was kind of odd. Like, okay, maybe I do have a lot more shoes than anyone else in the neighborhood.
For real. Oh man, I think it's a realization that many of us come to after a little while, where you're like, I think I had a friend on the podcast a few years ago. Well, it feels like a few years ago, probably months ago, and he was like, my friends kept on telling me that I only ever posted my new trainers on Instagram, and they were just getting tired of seeing my new trainers. And then it was then that he realized, I think I might have a bit of an issue here. Yeah. Like, I think I might actually just like Kicks, because I don't put photos up of my family. I don't put photos up of me or my job, just my new trainers, and just that's what it is. And I think that's really cool. I think once we make that realization and we lean into it, because everyone's got their things, right? I
think for me, the realization came when I went to the local sneaker store, went in, and I bought 3 pairs at the same time, like this whole pack. Like,
come on,
an Air Max 1, I think it was called the Omega pack from a Nike Air Max 1. And I just walked into the store and I thought, okay, that's a super cool pair. Oh, geez. That's also super cool. Let's get all 3 of them. And then I walked out and I was like, okay. What did I just do?
I've got a bit of an issue.
I've always bought a lot of trainers, but now it's getting out of hand.
That's it. Yeah. In the best possible way.
Yeah.
In the best possible way. And Matthijs, man, first and foremost, thank you for being on the podcast. It's been absolutely amazing getting the insight, man. I really do appreciate it. And I can 100% agree. You're Kicks Chronicles certified as a sneakerhead. That's 100%. We know that, right? I mean, co-CEO of Sneakerness is definitely a sneakerhead. Let's put that one out there, man. But yeah, I mean, my friend, there's going to be people watching this. Hundreds, thousands, possibly millions of people are going to listen to this. Please tell them sort of how they can get involved with what you got going on over at Sneakerness, how they can support, talk to the people.
Maybe I should tell a little bit about what I really enjoy about my work at Sneakerness, and what I actually love about Sneakerness. That's providing a platform, and that's providing a platform for talented people. Young entrepreneurs, photographers, artists, designers. If you ask me personally, what I like best about it is that we're able to do this.
Amazing.
And I think by now I can give you a bunch of really cool examples of people that don't get me wrong, these people are so talented that they would have made it without our help anyways. But I think it's really cool that we are in a position where we can just give them like just a small push, and then they start flying.
Amazing.
So I'm always looking for those kind of people. Like I said, like illustrators, designers, photographers,
people.
Yeah,
you heard it here. You heard it here. Make yourself known, man. Put yourself out there. Do great things, and great things will happen, man. You just gotta try.
Yeah,
you just
yeah,
gotta
for
try,
sure.
man.
I mean, 9 out of 10 times it just starts with an email.
This is it.
Yeah.
This is it.
Yeah.
Or you could just grab him when you see him on the floor at Sneakerness and ask him to come on your podcast.
Yeah. Easy as that.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Matthijs, I appreciate your time, my G. I like it. It's been fantastic. Really, really do appreciate it. People, this has been another episode of Kicks Chronicles with Matthijs Van Der Meulen from Sneakerness. He gave us his time to talk to us about his amazing collection, his origins in kicks. It's been absolutely amazing. Do all those things that we need you to do. We need you to like, comment, subscribe. We need those 5-star, you know what I'm saying, 5-star reviews. We need all of those. You get me? Do those things because you know those things are important, right? And we'll continue to bring amazing guests like Matthijs. Once again, thank you for your time, my bro. And until I see all of you guys, yourself, at some point, everybody just look after yourselves and remain blessed. Thank you for listening to this episode of Kicks Chronicles. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share, rate, review, and all that good stuff. And remember, full video version is available on YouTube, audio versions available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts.